Hey everyone, so today I wanted to show you guys how I get a super smooth and flawless base for my face, or just for my foundation routine and everything like that. So first, you always want to make sure you prime. Priming is really going to give you a barrier between the foundation and your skin. So I have a few primers that I really like. I have three here. I have the Pores No More Primer by Dr. Brandt. This one is one of my favorites. It fills in all of your pores and it makes it look super just airbrushed. Next I have the BECCA Backlight Priming Filter. I love this one. It gives you like a super radiant, glowy look to your skin and it just makes you look really healthy. So if you're looking for that super just really nice luminescent glow, this is definitely going to be the one for you. Next I have the Touche Eclat Blurring Primer by YSL Beauty, and this one is the most expensive. I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but I know that it's the most expensive because it's YSL. So this one, I find that it really just smooths out my skin. It gives me just a really nice even layer to my skin. I like mixing this one with my BECCA primer. You don't necessarily have to have two primers, but I just like using two because I find that they just do different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and just apply it on this palette here. I like a little bit more of the YSL just because I like my skin to be super smooth and also just nice and radiant. The YSL one does have gold flecks in it, but I don't find that it really does much for my skin as far as like the gold flecks go, but it's a nice little addition. I don't know if that bumps up the price. If it does, it's really fucked up because it doesn't do anything. I'm going to just go ahead, and you can use a sponge for this, you can use your hands. I'm actually going to use my hands. This really just helps the product melt into your skin. I like bringing it down slightly. I don't want it on my under eyes because I don't want to give any attention or shimmer to that area, so I just prefer to keep it away from there. If you're using a pore filling primer, make sure you just kind of roll in the primer into your skin to fill in all your pores because it's definitely going to help. The foundation I'm using today is my Graftobian palette. This is the Warm palette and I use a few shades from here. I just mix them all together. This foundation can be a little bit more matte if you just use it on your own. I like to mix it in with an oil or a moisturizer. So I'm just going to go in with the color correcting shade first just to kind of color correct my under eyes, but that is the foundation that I use as well. So you want to do any color correcting before you do anything else because you want this to be hidden from the overall final look. You don't want any kind of peachy look coming through. You don't want any dark orange tones showing through your foundation, so just make sure you blend and pat everything in. I like to just bring it out a little because I can find that I get a little bit dark on this corner. So like I said, I use the Graftobian foundation. It's just right here. I already made my shade, and then I also mixed it in with the Graftobian Oxyderm moisturizer, which looks like this. You can mix it in with a moisturizer or with a illuminizing kind of drops, which I'm also going to add that in because I find that it just really makes you look super dewy. So that's the look I'm going for. I'm just using the BoxyCharm Temp 2 drops. So you can use Cover FX, any brand makes them. You can find these at the drugstore as well. Not the Temp 2 brand, but just any illuminizing drops. So I like to just continue mixing it in, make sure everything is completely mixed together, and then I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to my face. So I'm going to go ahead and just blend it out with my beauty blender, and I'm going to continue just grabbing some off of my palette. The shade is perfect for my skin tone. Some people are lucky enough that they're able to find a drugstore foundation that really matches them, and I find that I am not one of the lucky ones. I've really been liking a super glowy look for the summertime, and it just doesn't make your skin look super cakey or anything. I find that it just looks really nice and glowy, and it's easy to get away with doing just very little of this. So I didn't even use a lot of foundation. You can still kind of see my veins through it. For my concealer, even if it's in everyday wear, I like to go full coverage because like I said, I do have dark circles, but because I did color correct, I think I'm just gonna go in with the lighter one. For my lighter concealer, I'm gonna go in with the Pretty Vulgar, this is a medium coverage, and the Photo Focus Concealer by Wet n Wild, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use these two. I'm just gonna do a triangle under my eyes. This one, I think it claims to be buildable coverage, but I'm sure you can build it up, but I find that it starts to get a little cakey if you try building it up too much. And then I love the Wet n Wild one for the center. Oh, I hope this isn't dark. Just the center of my face. I like blending it in with this Real Technique sponge. It's really dried out because the soap that I use dries my beauty blenders out, but I'm looking for a new soap to use because obviously that one's not working. Or maybe I just need to mix like oil with it. When I wash my beauty sponges with my body wash that has like eucalyptus oil, it really hydrates them, but I just do a quick wash with the bar soap. So that's that, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and do my under eyes. Make sure you really get in there just to kind of cover up all of that orange color corrector. Some people don't have to do that step, which you're really lucky if you don't, but my dark circles are so bad all the time. So I just go over it lightly. I don't like to take the highlight anywhere else outside of where I want to leave it, because then that just defeats the whole purpose of highlighting, because it's going to make my face look a lot whiter. Not whiter, but like wide. So just keep it in this area here. I'm so excited to go to my mom's house. I'm leaving on Saturday, so I really just have to get my stuff together and get ready to go. Now that that's done, I'm not gonna bake today because when you bake, it really just kind of cakes up the look on your under eyes. So I'm gonna use this Bare Minerals Visible Light Matte and Glowy powder. It comes with 2, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set my under eyes with this. What the hell? So I'm using a pretty dense brush. I'm using the matte shade for my under eyes, and then I'm gonna use the glowy part kind of on the lower half of my eyes. So just gonna make sure that I blend it out once again on your under eyes, because you really don't want any of the creases to be set. I like to just gently roll it. This is just going to give you like that nice set and matte look, but it's not going to completely dry out your under eyes. I'm gonna use a different brush. This is a Luxie 522, and I'm gonna go in with the glowy side and the matte side and just kind of set under here. And then I know this isn't a step that everyone likes doing, but I always have to cream contour just because my bronzer just won't look right if I don't. I don't know, I really do not like the way my face looks without cream contour, so I always have to add some on there. If your cream contour or whatever shade you're using, foundation, whatever it is a little dry, then just make sure that you add some oils. I have my Dermalogica Phyto Replenish oil here, but I'm just going to use my beauty sponge, or my beauty blender actually. This is a beauty blender, and I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it just so it gets a little bit more damp, and just kind of tap it into the sponge. I used my foundation on the bottom so I can correct. I'm gonna go ahead and just roll this into the skin, and I like to take it into my hairline. That is what's gonna make it look most natural for me. So that is just what I do. And then just roll this part up. And this is really going to allow your powder bronzer to adhere to your skin. You find that it usually goes on patchy and whatnot. This really helps. So I like using the sponge, the same one that I use for my foundation, because if I go too far with the contour, I just clean it up really easily. And then here I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it downward. Then I like to add a little bit of powder just to kind of set the creams. I'm using my Wet n Wild contour palette. This is a contouring palette, that's what it's called. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just apply this to my forehead, set that a little, just set it right here. And I like to pat it in just to make sure that it stays in that area, not really swipe it to remove any product. So the bottom I'll swipe it a little bit. And then this is actually a little scar, so if it looks a little darker, it's not patchy, it's just a scar that I had. I started breaking out on my cheeks here, and I'm pretty sure it was because I ate like 5 cheeseburgers at the opening of the highlight room. So no regrets though. You can of course add cream blushes. This is the Graftobian High Definition Glamour Blush Palette. So I'm using the shade Vienna Rose, and I'm just gonna take this on a really dense brush, and I'm gonna barely tap into it, and I'm just gonna apply this on my cheeks just slightly to add some color. And I'm not gonna set this blush shade because I really want it to show, and I personally think it's fine on its own since I have everything else on top. Next, for my highlight, I really like to be glowy, so I'm gonna take the ColourPop Yummy Cookies, and I'm gonna take that on my Real Techniques sponge. I used to do this all the time, and I just stopped. So applying that to the highest points of my cheeks, like so, and then on the tip of my nose, down the bridge, and of course just blend that all out. After that's done, you can always go in with your favorite highlight, or you can just leave it like that. I like going in with Laura Geller Gilded Honey, and I'm just going to take a little bit and just apply it right on top. Just gives you like a really nice sun kiss. If it looks a little patchy, you can just go in with your beauty blender and fix everything. And then, you guys know I love going into my nose. Taking a smaller brush, I like to pop my inner corners with highlight. It really just opens my eyes, I feel. I'm just doing that, then I'm gonna apply it on my brow bone. I don't like a matte shade up there, I prefer a shimmer. And then, of course, I have to add gloss on top. This is like my must-do. I prefer a gloss in the summertime. My lips get super dry because it's really hot, so the gloss just kind of moisturizes it a little bit. And if you also add a lip balm at the bottom, that's okay too. So that is it for this look. If you find that you look a little powdery, you can go ahead and do setting spray. So that is how I got this super glowy look. This has been my go-to look lately and I really loved it. I hope that you guys liked it as well. I will leave the products that I use linked down below, and not linked, sorry, listed down below. People always give me shit for that, but sometimes I just can't find the products, so I just kind of like write them down, and then if you guys can find it on your own, that's great. If not, it might not be available. But yeah, this is my completed look. I've been wearing this look a lot lately and it's just my go-to for now. The eyes are just very simple, my everyday eye makeup look, so I don't think you guys wanted a tutorial on that. That's all that I have for this video. I love you guys and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.